Hey everybody, it's Linda Brown here, and wasn't Jody amazing? I want that salsa for myself. That looked absolutely delicious. I am so excited to be working tonight. The leaders are working together to put together these good food chop challenges for our cook-alongs, and I was so excited to work tonight. I put earrings on and I put makeup on. I got my good food real fast t-shirt on, and I'm ready to work and rock it and do some cooking in my own kitchen. I'm doing meal prep for my own family, and hopefully you can cook along and join me. So I don't know if anybody's joining me yet. I've got one person watching. Awesome. Maybe we'll wait a minute or two for everybody else to join us, but this is a really interesting time with COVID-19. We've got people at home cooking maybe for the first time ever. So if you have questions or you're excited about something that you see tonight, please make sure that you reach out to the consultant that invited you to take part in this event, that invited you to these good food cook-alongs, because they cared enough about you to invite you so that you can get this information. So this is for information tonight to teach you how to use our good food real fast meal kits, and Jody did such a great job explaining the Mexican kit, so I'm just going to show you quickly how that Mexican kit can be put into action in your own kitchen. So I have here our multi-purpose steamer, and I've already put some chicken strips inside. So what I'm going to do is take that fajita seasoning that Jody was talking about, and I'm only going to put fajita seasoning on about half of the chicken, because truthfully, not everybody in my household likes heat. So that's the beauty of Epicure. You get to drive how much of the seasoning you want to put on your food. So I'm using chicken tonight, but listen, use what you have in your pantry to make your tacos. Jody was already talking about the black beans. They're a great option. You can also make fish tacos. You can make beef tacos. There's all sorts of different options depending on the protein that you have in your house. So use what you have and don't feel like you need to make a special trip. So she already talked about our 4-in-1 spice spoon. Such a handy tool in my kitchen too. Love it. So I'm sprinkling fajita seasoning on half of my chicken. And on the other half, I'm just going to put a few turns of our herbed garlic sea salt, because my daughter loves the herbed garlic sea salt. So her fajitas are a little bit plain, but that's okay. So normally I would pop this in my microwave now and cook it for 5 minutes, but you're just going to hear this drone of my microwave. So this chicken will be done in about 5 minutes. Again, every microwave is a little bit different. So if you have a super hot microwave, maybe put it in for 4 minutes, test it. You can always add time, but you can't take it away. So my microwave is about 5 minutes, so I'll cook it, I'll turn it over. If I see pink, I'll put it in for 1 or 2 more minutes. You definitely want your chicken cooked through. The great thing about our steamers is that the moisture in the chicken is retained. So you actually get more of the nutrients from your food when you cook in Epicure's food grade silicone steamer. So the World Health Organization actually says that food retains more of its nutrients when you cook it in its own steam. So that's pretty cool. So let's just pretend that our chicken is cooking. So one of my favorite meals using the Mexican kit is taco salad, and I don't know if you've checked local restaurants, but taco salad will often run you about $12.99 at the restaurant. You can make it for a fraction of that cost at home. Just put some greens on your plate, top them with that gorgeous salsa that Jody just made, put your protein on top of that, and then you can just take some Tostito rounds and crumble those on top, maybe with a little bit of cheese or Epicure's chipotle aioli. Super yummy on my taco salad. So that's a really quick way to use up leftovers that you have in the house. So when I make a chicken fajita meal, I like to make actually 2 or 3 batches, because then I've got meals for later on in the week that taste completely different because I'm pairing them with different ingredients in my house. So there's a tip for you. I guess those chips would be called storm chips in Newfoundland, right? So always have your storm Tostito chips at home. So that's taco salad. Okay, so my favorite thing to make is soup. And for my American friends, I'm really sorry that you do not have the Azteca Tortilla Soup mix that we have in Canada. This is an awesome meal solution that just came out this past catalog, and I love, love, love it. But guess what? I'm going to teach you how I used to make tortilla soup before this mix came out, and truthfully, I think it's just as good. So there you go, and it's using the products that come in the Mexican kit. So the first thing you're going to do is measure 5 cups of water into your pot. And I'm using the Epicure multi-purpose pot. Love it because it has measurements right on the side. So it takes the guesswork out for me. So you're going to measure 5 cups of water into your pot. Then what you're going to do is open a can of crushed or diced tomatoes. Just a little tip. When I get my cans home from the grocery store, I like to wash them. If you have a Norwex cloth or you want to wash them in soap and water and dry them, then you know that they're clean, because right now you don't know who's touched your cans. So that's just a food safety tip that I like to do when I get home from the grocery store. So I'm just going to open this can here. And there's so many more options as well when it comes to canned tomatoes. You can get low sodium, no sodium. Just check your labels, because some of the canned tomatoes are quite high in salt. All right, so I've got my can of crushed tomatoes, and I like to add a little bit more flavor to my soup. So I actually do use our chicken broth mix. Now this seasoning is enhanced nutritionally, so it has vitamin B12 in it, because there's inactive nutritional yeast in this product. So nutritional yeast that Epicure uses is high in vitamin B12. Not all nutritional yeasts are created equal, so make sure you read your label, because some people buy nutritional yeast at the store and they think they're doing a good thing for their body, and it might not actually have the B vitamins that they need. So do your research. So I just put a teaspoon in for each cup. Just like so. Then I add my tomatoes. Of course, whenever I make a red sauce, I make a mess in my kitchen. My friend Dion was talking about that on a Facebook Live today, and she made me laugh, and here I am doing the exact same thing. Love it. All right, so I've got my diced tomatoes in there. Then what I do is I actually use a combination of the guacamole seasoning and the nacho cheese dip. Normally I would use poco picante, but again, not everybody in my house likes as much heat. So I find that the combination of these two seasonings are just the right combination for my family. So then I just add 2 teaspoons of each to my pot. Now you may have noticed that I used a different spice spoon, and that's because I don't want to cross-contaminate, because there's actual chicken flavor in the broth mix, and there's actually some Parmesan cheese in the nacho cheese. So I don't want to cross-contaminate with my guacamole. So my guacamole doesn't have any cheese, meat, or dairy in it. So I'm doing 2 teaspoons of guac. And again, if you want a little bit more heat, you can add some poco picante or a little bit extra of the seasoning. It really depends on what your family likes. So I've got those in there, and then it's just, okay, what have we got in the fridge? What do we need to use up? Let's throw that in the soup. So I like to add a little bit of corn because my kids love corn. So throw that in there. If you've got some peppers in the house, throw those in too. And this is where it gets fun, because you can use whatever protein you want. So if you wanted to add some beef to this, you could add beef. In my case, I'm gonna have the chicken. I'll just chop that up a little bit more fine. I'll throw that into my soup. It's also delicious with the black beans as well. So that's how you can make fajitas for your family, but make a little extra of the protein so that you can have a soup later in the week. And this freezes beautifully. And one of the things I like to do is freeze it flat in a Ziploc bag, just so that if I get home and I've forgotten to take something out for supper, I just kind of run it under cold water in the sink, and the soup will break apart, throw it in my pot, and I've got supper in less than 15 minutes. So those are some tips that I've been using for years, thanks to Epicure, and I hope that you found it helpful too. If you have questions, if you want links to recipes or products, again, please reach out to the consultant that invited you to this cook-along so that you can make these recipes for yourself at home as well. Have an awesome night, and Denise has some more posts coming up soon.